Days after being on the receiving end of a brutal verbal assault by the country's focal man in health, Sherlina Najir is openly rejecting the sentiments of regret that have since been expressed by Dr. Berry Ramsaran. She explains why.
I don't accept the apology. It's like Nandalal apologizing. We know it's just a PR stunt. And, really what you say publicly is one thing, but when you're having your private conversations, on the road corner with your friends and you feel free to speak your mind, well, then we know what you really think.
She added that the apology was not issued to her and should not only be issued to her, since the minister's remarks speak volumes of discrimination to a wider section of the society. Najir was at the time picketing in front of the health ministry with several members of civil society and a number of non-governmental organizations. She said this exercise was basically a call to awareness of a major societal problem.
When people in such high positions like ministers, presidents, ex-presidents, when they say things like that, we believe that they should be called out. So that's why we're here at this particular location today.
Najir went on to state that her only request, which is the same one she had when assaulted, is to see the minister fulfill his mandate, since an apology to her does nothing to remedy the real issues.
So I would like him to do his job to address the high rates of maternal mortality, to address mental health, suicide. There was supposed to be a suicide prevention strategy in February. Haven't heard anything about that since. I want him to implement the medical termination of pregnancy law.
She shared the opinion that the minister's modus operandi is very questionable, especially at this critical time when the country's health sector is receiving negative reviews. Najir commented on the sincerity of the minister's colleagues who have seemingly joined her cause.
This is the thing, right? We hear this all the time in dealing with sexual violence. I was provoked, she provoked me. We hear that all the time, especially in domestic violence cases. Cases where women have been murdered, maimed. And so it's the same thing that we see Mrs. Manichan doing, protecting, her friend, Dr. Ramsaran. So it's disturbing in Guyana where we have a culture of sexual violence, where sexual violence is epidemic.
The women's activist lamented that this trend is disturbing and should not be accepted by any right-thinking person. She said a sincere act of contrition should not include justification for the actions of the abuser. Sadly, according to Najir, this is the reality Guyanese are faced with by an uncaring and disrespectful regime. For HGP Nightly News, Kingsley Bryan.